In this video, we're going to look at installing the EV3 software for the LEGO Mindstorms. So the EV3 software that we're talking about is the application that runs on a computer where you can actually build your programs, okay? And it's a graphical programming interface, so you're going to be able to do, the primary programming constructs, the sequence, the decisions, and the looping structures. And it's all done in a very graphical way. So you can see this is a screenshot of a program. And it's very intuitive in some cases, and we'll go through this as we move through this course. But what we want to do right now is we want to install the software. So when you get the EV3 kit, most kits don't come with a DVD anymore. What you have to do is go out to mindstorms.lego.com and you have to download the actual program. So let's go out to Mindstorms, lego.com and Mindstorms. And what you're going to do is the first thing that you'll see is a download button or a download option to get the EV3 software. So you're going to go ahead and click download for Windows or download for a Mac, and it's a pretty big file. It's 660 megabits or megabytes, so it's going to take a few minutes to do. So go ahead and do that. And I've already done it, so I'll go ahead and launch mine, and we'll kind of walk you through the installation process. So it's going to be an executable file on a Windows machine. So you go ahead and double click on it and you run it. And what I'm going to do as I install the software is I'm going to pause from time to time in order to kind of speed up some of the process here. So as it's extracting, I'll pause and then I'll come back and you'll see that it's completed for these tasks. So once it extracts, you'll get a screen that pops up that talks about where you like to install the software. So I'm going to accept the default and say next. Then I'm going to accept the license to this, and I accept the next license to this, and then it's going to install. And so this will take a few minutes to actually to install. So let's see how long. It shouldn't take too long here. Okay, so that took about 2 to 3 minutes to actually install that, and it just comes up and it's done. So I hit finish, and it created a icon on my desktop that I can now run the actual that I can actually run the new program. Okay, so it looks like I need to restart my machine, so I'll go ahead and restart later and we'll continue this video. Okay. So let's go ahead and launch the software and see what we have. So I'm going to launch this. I get a firewall access, so I go ahead and allow that. It's going to bring up the GUI. So here's what the screen looks like. Let me resize that. All right, so I have this software now up and running, and it's installed. Okay, but at this point, I also want to plug in my Mindstorms tracker. So right here, I have my tracker, and what I want to do is I want to plug it into my computer and get the USB drivers installed. So to turn on the tracker, you press the center button there. And it takes a few minutes, it takes about a minute to boot up. I mean, it's booting a full operating system on there, so it doesn't just immediately come on. And once it is fully operational and booted up, it'll play a tone. So you're going to have a cable. This is a USB mini cable. And you're going to go ahead and go to the back of the brick. And you'll see that next to ports A, B, C, and D, there's a PC port. And you go ahead and, with it powered on, plug in the cable. And if you're running Windows, what'll happen is that it'll recognize that it sees the EV3 and it will install the drivers for it. Okay. All right, so now let's take a look at getting started here. So the first thing you can do is click on Getting Started, and it will guide you through, how to use the software and where to find things. And it's a nice little tutorial just to get you started, just with the overview of the software. What I want to do is we're going to go into the software in another video, but I want to make sure that I can download a program onto this, and that'll make sure that my robot has been constructed correctly, the batteries are all in, I can download to it. So let's go ahead right now and click on Software Overview, and this is another tutorial here. Hang on. So what I want to do is I want to come up to this arrow right here, this plus sign, and click Add Project. And then what's going to happen is it is going to bring up a new project. And you can come in here, and the project has this thing called program in it. And you can rename the program if you want. So when I download this, it's going to actually download it to the brick or the tracker, and you'll see the name program on there. So it's something where you want to sometimes change the name of it, and the way that you do that is you double click on here. So go ahead and double click on it and just write test 1, and you see that you have this graphical programming interface. Okay, and we're going to go through this again in detail, but what I want to do right now is I just want to get the motors moving. So if you look down here, you're going to see these icons. This one that is fourth from the left on the green tab is called Move Tank. And go ahead and click on it and bring it up into here and attach it to this play button. And what this is a move tank is it's going to move both wheels at the same time, and that's the way that we have constructed our tracker. So what I want to do now is I can set the power of each motor. So I can set the power of the left motor at 75%, right motor at 75%. I can change the direction of the wheels, and then I can do the rotation. So it'll be one rotation, and then I can change the brake. So if I run this, all it's going to do is make the thing move forward and then stop. So I want to actually test this thing out. And what I can do is I can just hit the play button. So if you notice what happened there, now I'll caution you really quick. When you download a program by hitting play, one of the things that happens is you have the cable connected. So if you have a Locomotion program and it takes off, it'll actually run off the, sometimes it can run off the desk and yank your computer on there. But I just hit play on there and it moved, okay? So that told me a whole lot that's happening right. I was able to install the software, I entered a simple program to move forward, and then I ran it, and that verified that the USB connection is in there. When I come over to here, when I connected my USB cable, it saw that I'm connected, and so it's got the EV3 connection type USB, and this is the memory indicator, so it'll show you how many programs are on there. If you wanted to just download onto your tank tracker, what you can do is hit download. It immediately makes a noise, so let me get a little closer to it so you can actually hear that. So I hit that. It made a noise, and now in order to run it, you can actually unplug it, and what you do is you use the menus on here. So it should default to, you want to come over to the play, and what you're going to do is you're going to be able to scroll down and find your program, and then what you're going to do is you are going to hit run by selecting it. Okay, so that's how you actually run the program that you're interested in. And let's see here, and that is really it. Okay, so that is how you have installed the software. That is how you have tested that the USB connector is on there, and we are ready to go. So what we do next then is we have constructed our robot, we have installed the software, so you'll get, this is a big check, meaning that we're done with this particular module. A medium-sized check, it takes multiple checks to equal one of the big checks, so we have finished our construction and software installation, and we are ready to go. So what we're going to do next is start looking at locomotion. So we're going to actually look at how do these motors, what is the theory of the motors, how do we actually program them to move, and then we're going to start talking about just some introductory level tasks that are very common to get started learning how the capabilities of this tracker and the capabilities of the software, and just make it do some real fun things. So that's what we'll do next.